Is cybersecurity overhyped? This is a good question that we should look at sober-minded. On one hand, it does feel and look a lot like a giant dumpster fire. But on the other hand, it also looks and feels like a bunch of nerds making a massive fuss about something that people don't really care about. So how overhyped is cybersecurity? Well, Grant Collins just posted a video talking about this, so we're gonna watch this video together and discuss.
Okay, so if you've been following my channel like the duration of 2022, you've probably realized and seen me just harp on the realism behind getting started in cybersecurity and cybersecurity as a career. Now, in this video, I'm basically going to be doing the same exact thing, so you can just click off if you don't really care about this. So cybersecurity, it rides on hype, on buzzwords, on trends, and there's a lot of BS in this industry that you have to take a look at and really navigate through. This video has been inspired by Alexis over at Hackersploit, who talked about trivializing cybersecurity, or stop trivializing cybersecurity. And there was a lot of good points that he made in the video. I suggest you go check that out. And this is more so just an evangelization of his message and kind of what he talked about in that video.
This is a good point. If you haven't seen Hackersploit's video, definitely check that out. Basically, the idea is that a lot of people will oversimplify intense cybersecurity concepts and to either shill or otherwise grift within the industry and really get a ton of clicks. This is a problem, though, that goes beyond just social media. In fact, companies have a real issue with this as well to try to drive sales. And all the while, they're leaving a lot of their clients in the dust, not really understanding what's going on. This is a career field that requires a lot of good communication, basically translating nerd speak to human speak. So that's very valid. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay, so yeah, self-explanatory. I think a lot of people know kind of what the hype part of cybersecurity is, but if you take a look at security companies, and we'll just use content creators as examples on social media, what you'll find is a lot of people talk about maybe one area of cybersecurity. And okay, I just wanted to clarify, this isn't all content creators I'm talking about. There's just like a certain subsector of them, and I'm not going to name them. But, when we're talking about, John Hammond, IPsec, Pwn Function, Live Overflow, those people, obviously, they know what they're talking about a lot more than I do. And so I just wanted to clarify, this isn't just all content creators on YouTube. They tried to make that a trend. Now, in particular, this has nothing, no harping or anything on a true hacker, but a lot of people talk about red team or hacking, and they trivialize it in a way that they make it sound like, as a career, you're going to get high-paying salary to hack into Fortune 500 companies, and you're just going to be hacking all day, and you have the anonymous mask and the dark terminal screen, and there's a lot of marketing behind that, but specifically in the content creation space, that content actually does really, really well. There are, plenty of content creators out there who are extremely knowledgeable in maybe, some particular blue team area, and they're not going to get nearly as much traction as someone who's going to talk about brute forcing passwords using Kali Linux, right? It's so simple, but that's just the reality of YouTube or, the reality of content creation. Now, it's, again, not to harp on anyone who creates that content specifically.
This is 100,000% true. And it's something that my channel faces, and it's something that really led me to creating this channel in the first place. The offensive side of cybersecurity is massively overrepresented online. And consequently, it's fairly challenging to look at cybersecurity online and get a very accurate taste of what this industry really is. It's also made much worse whenever you remember that social media thrives on oversimplification. And that, of course, is to appeal to a broader audience. And unfortunately, this has the consequence of making lower level people think that this stuff is easy when in fact it is incredibly challenging. I've done some offensive security content on my channel before. However, I haven't done any since, despite having learned even more about hacking and really being at a better level, I think, now than where I was whenever I made those videos. And this is for a couple of reasons. One, there are plenty of hacking channels on YouTube that do a much better job than I possibly could making that kind of content and explaining it along the way. Two, I think that it's massively overrepresented, like I've mentioned before. The blue team side, the defensive side of cybersecurity does not get nearly enough plug online, and that's something that I hope that this channel does more of, is plugging the defense, but also it just needs to be more represented. The Cyber Mentor actually made a video about this as well, previously talking about cybersecurity grifters. Basically, his gripe was that a lot of channels on YouTube were creating content where they weren't really going into detail or actually trying to teach anything. They were instead just going over the surface level stuff to try to get views and clicks. And all of that has been a reason why I've kind of thought about making a video about cybersecurity content creators that I support. However, there are so many that I like that I think are valuable. That video would probably be an hour long. And I'm also concerned that, maybe there's some other good content creators out there that are solid, that are much smaller, that maybe I've missed. So I wouldn't want anybody to feel left out. But if that's something that you'd like to see, let me know in the comments.
If you're really trying to get into cybersecurity as a career, and maybe not so much as just like a hacking as a hobby, but just actually making real money and having a job out of this, the industry is going to be a lot different when you step foot in your first job. Oftentimes, the job is going to be this. You're going to wake up, you're going to go to meetings, maybe go through some ticketing systems, triage alerts, if that's what your job is, do some reporting and documentation, and, maybe call it a day. And you're going to be sitting at your desk in front of a computer screen 8 to 10 hours a day. Is that fun? Well, for some people, they're fine with that. Others, they would be driven nuts from just like sitting down all day. So security is not going to be about brute forcing passwords or getting domain admin. That's one component of it, but that's not the whole picture of cybersecurity when you're talking about it from an enterprise environment.
You can say that again. I thought my career was going to be a lot different from how it's been, but it is what it is.
A little bit of a side note, what I've learned is that security, it's not so much that it's, fully a technical issue. It's also a culture and people issue. You have to be willing to work with people, and people are all going to have different types of opinions, and you have to compromise with them.
This is it right here. It's not sexy, and it's going to be kind of boring a lot of the time. Even if you're working on the red team side or as an offensive team member, you're going to be spending a lot of time in meetings. You're going to be spending a lot of time report writing. You're really, all told, not going to be spending a lot of time getting domain admin or hacking things. Hey, Editor Caleb here. I just wanted to state that I'm speaking from like a defensive perspective here. I haven't had obviously a offensive side job, but from everybody that I've spoken with that have had offensive side jobs, it really reflects a lot of how the defensive side is, where you're spending a lot of time, not necessarily doing the fun technical things, and you're spending a lot of time doing the meetings, doing the collaboration, doing the documenting. It's kind of same in that regard. Documentation is such a huge and critical and important piece of what we do. And if you don't like reading or writing, then yeah, this is going to be kind of challenging. And boy, the meetings. Starting off, you might be in a few meetings, but you might have a lot of time to be able to get your work done. But certainly as you climb up the ladder, you gain more responsibilities and you get on more projects, you're going to be in a lot of meetings. In fact, just about every manager I've had many days that I can remember where the whole day is just a bunch of meetings and they have no time to get any work done. But that's life whenever you work in an area that requires close coordination and good communication, like in cybersecurity. My advice is if you work from home, make your office comfy. You'll be spending a lot of time in there.
If you could switch over to like tools and vendors, everyone's trying to implement a zero trust network today. They all have zero trust network tools. You have to think about the buzzwords and the acronyms and the trends that companies and security vendors are trying to push on you. Do they really have substance, or is it just like, oh, this is the new thing, go after it and sell? People, they're just trying to sell you things. I'm guilty of it myself. Look, I created a course before, have Dibuda merch. When people are riding on hype, they're oftentimes just trying to gain the views and the subscribers or the sales.
Hey, listen, people are trying to sell you things, and that's not always a bad thing. In fact, a lot of what people are trying to sell you can be good. Something like a good password manager like NordPass, where you can get 1 month free using the link down in the video description and pin in the comments. That is an affiliate link. I support NordPass. NordPass is a great password manager, and if you're not using one, you absolutely should. Now, I know that you saw what I just did there, because it may not be good salesmanship. I don't think it was bad salesmanship, but it was salesmanship. Now, that deal is real, by the way, so definitely use that affiliate link. Get a 1 month free with a 2-year membership. It's pretty affordable. You're going to love it. Now, something like that isn't bad. people need to buy and sell things. Cybersecurity, ultimately, we need to pay the bills, and you need to transact money to be able to do that. So it is what it is. But it can be a bad thing whenever people sell scammy courses or other things like that. And that's been, one reason why I personally have not sold or created any courses, because I just don't feel confident that I can create something that would be worth your money. You'll see things like the 0 to hero in 1 week that promise a 6-figure salary. Those kinds of things that if it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true, and you're being scammed out of your money. That exists as a real deal in cybersecurity. Another huge issue is not only the courses that can be very, very, very expensive that are good that are good quality, but they're like thousands of dollars, or certifications that are way overpriced. This is a huge problem in cybersecurity that we definitely need to do a bit better on, and that you're going to have to be careful as you navigate this industry. Now, if I do end up making a course, I'm going to be very careful to make sure that it is of great quality and it's worth your money. A lot of people don't really do that.
So as a new entry-level cybersecurity individual here, what I can say is that cybersecurity, it's not a lot of what people on the content creation space, security vendor space are going to talk about. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of research. It's a lot of collaboration. And as a career, there's a reason why that dollar amount or that salary is particularly so high. There is a particular rate of burnout. How do we navigate this? Is people who maybe are really actually trying to get into the industry. Question: really get into the mind of someone when someone is like trying to prove that they know things and technically a lot more sufficient or superior than you. Just question them. Try to understand exactly where and why they came to that conclusion. The second strategy or way is taking a look at, I'm going to say it, the fundamentals. Listen to those who really are experienced and who are going to be authentic. Like those who actually are talking about cybersecurity in a non, buzzwordy or hype way. They're typically very experienced, and they're typically people who don't need to push and sell you something.
This is such an important point that I really wish that he went into further detail with. In fact, it's something that I've learned a lot while being in the industry in the past couple years myself, and it can be a pretty tough pill to swallow. Remember the line from Dune, the spice must flow. Business must go on, and if cybersecurity is going to stand in the way of that, then yeah, they're going to push it to the side. But that's the thing, that is where your job is. You have to be able to navigate security needs, but also understand business necessity. If security got everything the way that security wanted, no business would get done. And that's just not how any of it works. So you have to be the one to strike the balance between business efficiency and security. But again, and that ties back to all the communication, the meetings, and the documentation. It is hard work, and we've already talked about everything that makes this all hard work. It's not sexy, it's not flashy. You're going to be spending some time being bored. You're probably going to get frustrated a lot. But you know what? If you enjoy this industry and if you want to make an impact, these are the tolls that must be paid along the way. Speaking of positive drivers to help this industry, hit that like button so this video can reach new audiences and we can clarify some stuff for more people on YouTube. Also, be sure to check out that NordPass deal if you're interested, and if you want to learn more about NordPass and what it does, check out this video. With all that being said, hit the like button, be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all next time. Bye.